Happy Friday, Hokie Nation. Thanks so much for joining us on your ride home. A lot to talk about today from a basketball perspective. We got some injury updates. We got a preview for Oklahoma State in the Barclays Center coming up, and we got much more. It's TSL Today on a Friday, and it starts right now. We welcome you into the Corporate Research Center right here in Blacksburg, Virginia. However you may be joining us, whether it be on Spotify or YouTube Live, we really appreciate you. And we ask that you leave some feedback and some comments below. Let us know what kind of stuff you want to see on TSL today. Giovanni Heater with you. Across the way, it is Carter Hill, and behind the scenes today, Kyle Marshak. And again, we thank you for joining us on your Friday afternoon. Well, Carter, finals week here in Blacksburg. You're a townie, so you know that campus is about to ramp up for these next couple of days before it gets real quiet for about a month when everyone heads home.
Yes, and it's sad because you two are going to be leaving me on Monday going back up to Syracuse, so I'll be kind of depressed about that. But Will always talks about this on the podcast. It's kind of an interesting perspective because from a townie standpoint, you're kind of like, you know, it's the summer, you're ready for the students to come back. And then it's almost time for winter break and you're ready for them to be gone. And then It's almost time for summer and you're ready for them to be gone again. The cycle just keeps on repeating because it's nice because you like to see the students come in and the town be all vibrant and everything. That's what makes Blacksburg so special, but also you like to enjoy the town by yourself too. So it kind of waxes and wanes like that. And that's how it was for me growing up. It's a little bit different now that we're all students and I'm always here and I see town from a student's perspective and I see town from, you know, a townie's perspective still over the break. So it's an interesting dynamic, but I'm ready for the break to come and be done with classes. But I will miss everybody, though, for sure.
Well, you're going to be taking a trip up to Syracuse. Kyle and I are going to call the Syracuse Virginia Tech game, and you're going to write for it. So it'll be cool to kind of show you our home.
I'm ready to get up there. I've never seen a game. I'm still going to call it the Carrier Dome. I've never seen a game at the Carrier Dome before, so I'm excited about that. But that's a month away.
Yeah,
got a long
absolutely.
time.
We got a lot of basketball to be played until then. So let's go ahead and recap these two basketball games that took place just a couple of nights ago on Wednesday. First off, on the women's side, Virginia Tech takes down Boston College on the road. Pretty dominant fashion. 73-58 was the final score in that one. Taylor Soule did her thing, getting to go play for her old team. Liz Kitley led the way with 22 points and 12 rebounds. 16 points out of Kayla King. Not a whole ton to go over here. Just another great performance by the Hokies. They shot the ball 52% from the floor, 50% from beyond the arc. Were efficient from the free throw line at 82%. Same old out of the 7th-ranked team in the country. Crazy to think about that. It's getting boring to talk about how good they are.
I don't think it's getting boring. I enjoy it. Yeah, they out-rebounded the Eagles 34-27 as well. This was a huge game for Virginia Tech from an emotional standpoint. I mean, you talked about Taylor Soule going back to Chestnut Hill to play against her former club. I mean, she spent the past 4 seasons at Boston College. She graduated from Boston College. She loves that place. So to get to go back for her and play in front of her parents, she's from New Hampshire, so semi from the area, but she played pretty well, 9 points. I remember I watched the first half before coming to the men's game. So Tech won the opening tip. Mm-hmm. She secured the opening tip and immediately drove to the basket. She was ready to go. Clara Ford as well.
I was going to say, she got
also
to go
returning
home.
to Boston College. She played the last 2 minutes or so the first half. She put up 2 points, so nice to see her get on the scoreboard as well when she really hasn't been playing a huge role for Virginia Tech so far this season. So for her to go back to BC and play well was certainly nice to see. Boston College, they were picked to finish 13th in the ACC, so they're not expected to do much in the league. I mean, they lost their 2 best players, Taylor Soule going down to Virginia Tech, and then Cameron Swartz, who was their leading scorer, going down to Georgia Tech. So it's what Virginia Tech was expected to do. They go up to Chestnut Hill. They get a 15-point victory. Maybe didn't play their best at times. They turned the ball over a lot. They turned the ball over 17 times. So that is something that Kenny Brooks and company certainly going to want to clean up for sure. And then on top of that too, they did it without Ashley Owusu. And if you missed it, Owusu officially now will be out with a broken finger indefinitely. So I don't think we're going to be seeing a lot of her anytime soon. But luckily, Kayana Traylor is right there. She should fill in the starting five for Virginia Tech. She's done a great job, and she really should be starting anyway. She would start at 95% of the other schools around the country.
Right.
So typically would come off the bench, but she'll fill in just fine. Deasia Gregg should also step up, and she has been playing well. Played 20 minutes the other day. Played 32 a couple games ago against, I want to say, Nebraska. So she's playing a bigger role than she ever has at Tech. And with, Owusu's absence, this Virginia Tech team has been set up to be able to, endure losing somebody like that. And when you have like a Deasia Gregg and a Kayana Traylor who can step up like that, it's the reason Virginia Tech is the number 7 team in the country. And it would not be accurate to say the Hokies are not going to miss a beat, because Owusu was an All-American last year at Maryland. But hey, when you have those two girls that are ready to go off the bench and can help you contribute, you're going to be in pretty good shape.
No doubt about it. Let's go ahead and flip the script and talk about the men's side of things here. Virginia Tech with a huge win at home inside Castle Coliseum, 77-49. Blowout victory over the Dayton Flyers, avenging a loss from last season. The Hokies advanced to 9-1 on the year, 5-5 on the season. I think this is probably one of the best complete games we've seen Virginia Tech put together. Now, Dayton was without Colby Elvis in this ball game. He did not play for Dayton. But with that being said, Tech just dominated. Unbelievable performance out of Grant Basile. I thought it was very, very interesting how he played at Wright State, which is about 10 minutes down the road from Dayton's campus, and always wanted to play against Dayton. Mike Young talked about it on Tech Talk Live. Grant Basile had stuff on social media come out. Always wanted to play against Dayton. Dayton would never play Wright State. It took him coming to Virginia Tech to play the Flyers, and you could tell he was hungry for it.
Yeah, I saw a picture on Twitter, and I think Will Stewart was the one who quote tweeted this. Grant Basile last year went to a Dayton game in a Wright State jersey and had a sign there that said, "Play us in basketball." So for him to put up the performance that he did on Wednesday night, I'm sure it meant something to him. And he had a little bit extra fire too. You notice when he knocked down those shots, he would run back the other way, 3 up in the air, yelling at Tech's bench. 20 points in the first half. The guy couldn't miss from 3. 23 points overall. I thought it was obviously his best game of the season offensively, but overall I thought it was his best game as well.
His best game offensively was 33.
That's true. I just mean from a 3-point stand. Yeah, 3-point stand. 3-point standpoint. So I think too, with what he did offensively from beyond the arc and down low, I thought he was as good defensively as he's been all year. I mean, I thought he was swarming around the rim. I didn't see the Carolina game, so I can't speak to that one.
He had 4 blocks.
Yeah. So very, very physical, seemed to be playing with an edge. And when you can have that type of player down low, it softens the blow from losing Keve Aluma. And it's what Mike Young and company have been hoping to see from Grant Basile all year long. And he's finally started to come along and really be a part of this Virginia Tech team the way the Hokies would have liked for him to. So it's nice to be able to see him get going. But yeah, this was quite the win for Virginia Tech. I believe I think Will Stewart put something out on Twitter. It was Dayton's largest loss from a point standpoint in 7 years.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a proud program out of the A10. They were picked to win the league. And the A10 is one of the most solid mid-major conferences in the country. They were preseason number 24 in the AP poll. So for Virginia Tech, granted they were missing a couple key players, for Virginia Tech to welcome in Dayton and beat them by nearly 30 points, it's a statement for this Virginia Tech team. And now at worst, we talked about this was a crucial 3-game stretch for the Hokies, really 4-game stretch if you want to include Minnesota. North Carolina, Dayton, and now Oklahoma State on Sunday, which we're going to get to in the second half.
No doubt. And one thing that was really impressive, too, was holding Darren Holmes II to under his average, only 13 points. Made him go 5 for 15 from the field. That's a guy that's going to go play in the NBA. He's a very talented player that Dayton has on the inside. And to hold him to only 13, he was the only player in double figures for the Flyers, I think is an impressive feat, considering the struggle that we thought Virginia Tech had coming into the season was going to be, how are they going to defend on the inside? How good was Basile going to be? Basile had 4 blocks. So I think they did their job defensively on the inside, holding him. And weirdly enough, Tech was actually out-rebounded in this game, 42-35, and yet they still won by 30 points.
They had some problems on the boards in the first half, but hey, They did so practically without Justin Mutz. Only played 5 minutes in the first half due to foul trouble. Only scored 2 points the whole game.
Yeah.
And it was 2 free throws that he knocked down with like 3 minutes left to go.
The complete run, and this is credit to David Cunningham for tweeting this out. It was a 36-12 run that Tech went on in the first half.
Yeah, I think it was 10-4 at the under 16 media timeout.
Right. So they went on a 36-12 run. All of that was done without Justin Mutz on the court. That's unbelievable.
Unbelievable. How many of those points, you probably don't know off the top of your head. I wonder how many of those points were scored by Grant Basile.
Well, 36-12, and he had 20 in the first half. So you got to think probably like 16 or something.
Probably 16 or 18. I mean, it's incredible. But yeah, just to finish that point about the stretch too, you're playing those 4 games, and at best you were like, Tech's going to go 3-1 during the stretch. Now the Hokies actually have a shot to go 4-0.
Yeah, I think personally, this is, and again, this is an opinion, but I'd love to talk about it. I think that, and there's stats to support it, this team is better than last year's team.
I agree.
I think the ceiling is higher too.
Yeah, and you look at it just from looking through the schedule, this Virginia Tech team wasn't going to be in the NCAA tournament last year. Like if they didn't go on that run and up in Brooklyn at the ACC tournament, the Hokies aren't going dancing.
Right.
And now you got a team that seems like at this point in the year is going to be surefire, going to be playing in March in the big dance. Of course, there's a long way to go, but I can't help but agree there. And the way Sean Padula has come on too.
Yeah.
I mean, John Rothstein,
have a great point guard.
Many people across the country have said that Sean Padula may be the most improved guard in the country, at least the ACC. And the stats would support that too. I mean, he's
averaging 17 a game.
17 a game, exactly. And last year, he was averaging, I don't have it in front of me, but 5 or 6.
Yeah, and he was only playing 13 minutes a game.
And now he's playing 30, 31. He played
even more. There's games where he's played like 36 minutes.
The Charleston Classic final, I think he played 38 or 39. Yeah.
Yeah. So, regardless, I mean, some crazy highlight reel stuff. It was a dunk party. Hunter Couture, back-to-back games of putting somebody on a poster.
Can we get me on the camera here, Kyle, because I want to say something. I know you were like, I want DJU the other day. Chris Coleman put something out there about Hunter Couture and potentially a poster deal just to have some fun. Yeah. And Hunter went on Twitter, quote tweeted that. And I think off the top of my head, he put like a shrug emoji and like the eyes emoji. So if Hunter Couture wants his own poster deal, keep on posterizing those guys.
We're gonna have to talk to Will, because if you've seen our graphics department lately, I think we can cook something up.
Who does those graphics, Gio?
It doesn't matter.
No, but and the other thing too, after the Carolina game, his dunk in the Carolina game, it was a lot of people were like, is it a dunk? Is it a layup? It was kind of in between. And then he quote tweeted the video that Tech men's basketball put out there and was like, dunk or layup, you tell me.
Yeah.
And
as he yams it.
I didn't realize Hunter Couture had that in him. I'm not gonna lie. I mean,
I love it.
It came out of nowhere too. We were talking to Zach Mackey over lunch yesterday. Said he was not expecting that.
No.
Drove right down the lane and just absolutely tomahawked it down.
No, did not expect that. But Poteet had a nice dunk. Lynn Kidd had a nice dunk. MJ Collins had a nice dunk. Everyone got their feet.
Lynn Kidd had a solid game as well. 13 minutes, 6 points off the bench.
MJ Collins had a solid game.
MJ Collins can fly.
Dude, I'm telling you, as he continues to develop, he's going to be really good.
I agree.
I think it takes time. Like, I could totally see him taking a huge leap that Padula did, where next year, MJ could be a 15 a game kind of guy.
And Mike Young, he can develop. I mean, look at Kevin coming over from Wofford.
Look at Couture.
Hunter Couture was a Wofford recruit.
Prime example of development. He's a Wofford recruit. He came in and he said that he was one of the worst defenders he'd ever seen. And now he's the best defender he has.
I was going to paraphrase a quote. Mike Young has said it multiple times in post-game press conferences. He said, when Hunter Couture stepped foot on campus at Virginia Tech, he couldn't even guard me. And now he's one of the best defenders in the ACC. He may be... Justin Mutz is a great defender as well. Well, those two are interchangeable for the best defenders on the team.
Tech is blessed to have that. You got one in the front court and one in the back court that are two of the most elite defenders in the conference. I'm telling you, this team has a lot of the right parts.
If they win, and we'll get to this in the second half, if they win on Sunday, there's no shot they're not in the AP top 25 next week.
Yeah, I mean, they were what, 29th?
29th?
Very interesting. Last bit of news and updates, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to preview that Oklahoma State game in our next segment in just a moment. But I want to read a specific quote from Tech Talk Live that came from head coach Mike Young. This is in regards to injuries on the team, so here we go. And it does have a lot to do with Rodney Rice. John Camden is 100%. He's ready to go and ready to help us win. Rodney is getting closer. I think realistically, full disclosure, I think it's fair to all involved, and maybe I won't have to answer that kind of question anymore. I think he'll play at Wake Forest on New Year's Eve. If not Wake Forest, we've got a little cluster of games at home following that. I think Clemson and NC State. Again, these are Mike Young's words. I think there's a chance that he would need to get through Wake Forest game, the Wake Forest game, just to get the contact and get the timing, the stuff that matters. But he's getting close, and he is just about ready to play. So it looks like it's that Wake Forest game, and if it's not, it's the couple games after that. So huge news to finally have like a date that we can expect Rodney Rice.
So it goes Wake, Clemson, NC State, at Syracuse, at Virginia. And after that, I'm blanking. But
right.
So that's a nice little stretch to have him back for.
No doubt about it. All right, on the other side, we're going to talk about the Hokies going back to the Barclays Center. First time they've been there since being crowned ACC champions. It's after this on TSL Today on a Friday.